Hello, hello. Welcome to your creative kickoff. It has been a minute. My name is Storm. Good to see you all. As I said, I'm going to be taking you through your creative kickoff today, and we're going to be looking at some After Effects. But before I get started, let me first put my music back on and say hello. There we go. Oh, actually, I should say good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I think that covers pretty much everyone, doesn't it? Most time zones. It's my chat. Oh, there we go. Hi, Matt. Hi, Happy Insides. That's a nice username. How are you? Can you hear my music? I can't even. I can't. Why can't I hear my music? There we go. I have to say we need to get the ambience going. You're pretty excited because you're working in After Effects right now. Amazing. Oh, thank you, thank you. So, as I said, today we are going to be going through a little technique called the animation morph, and it's a pretty fundamental skill. But if you aren't aware, the description is kind of in the name. So the idea is basically we're going to be morphing from one shape into another shape, and you can use this in a variety of ways in your animation, whether it is highlighting a specific detail, adding a little bit of flair, or using it for storytelling. It's a really useful technique to have in your arsenal. So we've actually got less than 30 minutes, so I'm going to show you as much as I can in that time, and you can judge for yourself. It's going to be an itty bitty bit of a taster, but we will see how we get on. How about that? Oh, you barely know what you're doing? Don't worry. I'm here, and all the lovely folks at Adobe are here, and we will help you out. Hopefully the music's not too loud. It sounds quite loud for me. I'm making myself deaf over here. Oh, there we go. Found the wrong button. Ha! Alrighty. So, why don't we start with an example? So, like I said, we're going to take a circle and transform it into a square. Now, there are a few ways that you can do this sort of animation morph. One almost feels like a bit of a cheat, but not really. So, I'm going to assume that you know a little bit about After Effects. Although I did see, Matt, that you've not been in After Effects at all, so this is brand new to you. So I'm going to talk you through step by step, as if everyone's a bit of a beginner, so we're all on the same level. If that's okay with everyone. I need to find my chat window. I can't see everyone. What anyone's saying, actually. How do I pop this out? Is the audio low? Oh, my mistake. Is that a little bit better? Testing. Ooh. I think that's fine. Hopefully that's a little bit better. I need to... There we go. Alright, so to start, actually, if I do this over here, then I can see chat a little bit easier. Aha! Technical difficulties, but we got there in the end. I can see you now, and you can hear me. Wonderful. We got there in the end. Okay. So to start with, what we're going to do is create a new composition. Our composition is basically our workspace. It's where we're going to be doing all our work. Now, if you see this create a new composition button, I've already clicked on mine, but if you click on that, it opens up the composition settings. Now here you can set things like your aspect ratio, your frame rate, and things like that. I'm gonna keep it simple. We're gonna go by 1920 by 1080, frame rate 25 frames per second. And the first thing we need is a shape, obviously, that we're going to convert from one to the other. So I'm gonna start kind of like we had in our example with the circle. If you have a look at the top of the toolbar up here, you can see the ellipse tool. If you don't see it, if you click and hold on it, it'll open up with rectangles, rounded rectangles, etc, etc. You can see all the shapes there. So first thing we're going to do, holding down the shift key, is click and drag, and we create our circle. Now, before we do anything, we want to make sure everything is aligned, everything into the center. Now, you see the circle within the circle here, that is our anchor point, and it's a little off to the center. So I'm going to show you a little bit of a trick to get that back to center. So with that shape selected, holding down the control key if you're on a PC, and if you double click it, it will snap to the center of your shape, which is such a useful thing, because I used to like select the pan behind tool and then move it in place and all that jazz. This is the pan behind tool, by the way. If you hover up, you'll see pan behind tool. So you want to double click that with control, select it, and move it to the center. After that, you want to align it to the center using the align window here. If you don't have that, click on window and scroll down to align. Usually if you can't see it, that's where it'll be. Right, next we need the shape that it's going to convert into. So let us make let's make a star, why not? So same thing again, on a new layer I'm going to shift click out to make the star, and this time same again, I'm going to double click on the pan behind tool so the align is in the center, the anchor rather is in the center. Go find my align and align that to the center. Wonderful. So the technique we're going to use to convert one shape to another is animating its path. Now you can find it in a couple of ways. The easiest way to do that is by going to this search bar here and typing path. Can you see now that those shape layers, actually, this is a very bad habit that I have, you should do this. Name your layers. If you've seen me stream before, you know I say this a lot and I never do this. So let's quickly do that now. Have to lead by example. There we go. All right, so when you click, when you search for path, the path contents will come up and you can select them from there. So you've got the polystar path, the ellipse path, and we can't do anything with them in their current position. So what you want to do is you want to right click and convert to Bezier path, and that will make it animatable, let's say, for us. You want to do that for both of them, and then you're coming out of that and selecting U as a shortcut. Oops. Actually, once you've got the path, then, oh, did I undo it? I did. Oh no. There we go. So once the path is there, then you click the stopwatch to create the path. Polystar path 1. I did convert this to a Bezier already, didn't I? Ah, there we go. There. Now that we have a keyframe to see, we can select U, and we've got our keyframes. Now from there, let's just say we're going to go for 1 second. What I want to do is turn the circle into the star. So moving along the timeline, we're going to select the keyframe for the star, and we're going to copy it and paste it into the circle. Oops. There we go. You have to select the right path. So it kind of looks a little bit ugly, but we're going to refine that. But that at its core is shape morphing. Well, we're animators. We're going to add a little bit of flair to this. So what we're going to do first of all is we need to get that back to its main position. Can you see the anchor point is off the center now? Do you remember how we moved it back to the middle? I hope so. But if you don't, I did make a cheat sheet, which I will have to speak to someone at Adobe to see if I can get it downloadable for you all. But actually what we're going to want to do is animate the anchor point. So if you hit A on the keyboard, that will open up the anchor point property. And then same again here, I'm going to double click, move it back into the center, and then I'm going to realign it. So now it's animating in the center. That is basically it, but it's a little bit ugly. I think we can do better. Let's do a little bit better. Does it make sense so far? I hope so. Right, so I think to make it a little bit more dynamic, like I was saying, we're going to add a bit of an ease, maybe add a little bit of a bounce so we can make this seamless, because that's the whole point, is seamlessly moving from one shape to the other. So I think it's taking far too long. I think that's probably what's making it look a little bit ugly, for lack of a better word. So what I'm going to do here is move 10 frames back and move everything over. And then I'm going to hit F9 with the keyframe selected for an easy ease, which is a little bit better. But I think we can do a little bit better still. How about we make it bounce? Oh, that makes sense. So from the circle, it's going to bounce and then turn into a star, right? Because most movement has to have a reason behind it. So let us go to the position properties. So select the layer, hit P to open up the position properties, U again, because again, if you don't, I mean, this is up to you if you want to, but if you twirl down that arrow, you can see all of these properties and it can get quite overwhelming, especially once the project gets a little bit more intense. So you're going to hit U and it only shows the properties that you have keyframes in, which is a lot more useful in my mind. All right, so I think we're going to go down and then up, and that's when it's going to do the transition. So going back a couple of frames, maybe only 5, I'm going to move along the Y axis to go down, move that here, and I'm going to have a position that I've gone past the original start, so it has something to come back from. So it's going to go up, down, ooh, maybe past its down position. I need to copy that actually so I don't lose that position, and then back again. So we've got a bit of a movement there, which gives us a bit of a more reason behind that morph, which is quite nice. But again, we still need to make it a little bit more snappy, a bit more dynamic. So what I'm going to do is actually shorten the animation time here by dragging those keyframes along to make it a little bit tighter. I like that. And then of a feature that I underutilize so much is the graph editor. If you've spent any time in After Effects, you're probably a little familiar with the graph editor, but with this you can change the speed and the influence of your ease and your ease in, ease out, and things like that. So now we've got a little bit more of a sharp up and a slow down, which works. So really quickly there, just by copying and pasting the Bezier path of the shape, we've gone from circle to star. Now that's one way of doing it, a very simple way. Hi Jack, how are you? Good to see ya. Gosh, it's already 1:15, so I have got one more way of doing it, which is, again, I feel bad for saying it feels like a bit of a cheat, but animation at its core is the illusion, like the combination of images to form the illusion of movement and things like that. So it's not really cheating, it's kind of the whole point. That's my excuse and I'm sticking to it. So from here, oh actually, again, you can add things like motion blur, so you've got even more ways to smooth in between it, and then you can tweak from here and continue that way. Now the other way in which we can do motion what animation morphing is with something called a match cut. Now, a match cut, again, is a little bit, probably quicker, actually. So let's see, we've got about 10 more minutes, and I think we can work through a match cut. So for this example, you will see that we are going to go from a circle to a star, but instead of morphing the same way we did last time, we actually cut at the height of movement to transform it, which has the exact same effect as morphing, because it goes from one shape to the other quite seamlessly. Now, this technique is a little bit different, requires less messing around with the Bezier, so it might be preferable. I'm not sure. You let me know. Hopefully everyone's following along okay. If I'm moving too fast, let me know. Oh, have I lost chat? Oh, hello! I've been neglecting the Behance community. There's people in Behance and at YouTube, so I've been saying hi to both. Hi Robert, hi Jess, hi Ashraful, Barbara. I'm so sorry. Hi Pixie. I apologize. I haven't haven't seen you guys over there. I don't mean to be neglecting you. Okay, so for everyone else, oh my goodness, there's so little time. So to get from the animation that I just showed you as the example, we're going to make the shape bounce from the center and up and then transform. And in order to create this match cut, we're literally just going to cut. Hi Indara. Chat is okay? Hi Keys. I'm glad you all are okay. Okay, so same thing again. We create our shape. We go to our align, which I have lost. Where's my align? Did I move it? Did I close it? I did. I hope you remember how to go find the align. You remember Windows, down, you find the align that's there. Okay, so circle to a square, why not? Or rectangle. Looks more like a square to me, but now bear in mind this technique doesn't just work for how do I keep losing my align? It keeps closing. This technique doesn't just work for shapes, it can work for all manner of objects as well, so I'd be curious to see what you come up with. So for this one, I'm going to have the square hit the wall and bounce back and roll as a circle. So let's see how we'll do this. Square there. I think that's the circle. Yes, it is the circle. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to parent the circle to the square because the main movement's going to be on the square. So first I want to map out my movement. Starting with the position, hopping over, and I'm going to move it along here, and it's going to bounce, and then it's going to go and fall over on the floor, and then it's going to roll. Probably going to bounce too, but we'll get there if we have the time. So this is the basic movement: bounce, bounce, slide, bounce, bounce, slide. Trust the process. We're keyframing at the moment, basically. So I want it to, you know the drill. We've got to ease everything. We're going to go into the graph editor. We're going to mess with some of these sliders. So yep, it's going to go bing. And then we're probably going to have it bounce like that, and then tweak that a little bit. Oh no, that's too much. Don't want that. Oh, I've selected all of them. Panic. You end up messing around with these sliders a little bit. If you've actually been on my little sister Ray's animation 101 workshop, you probably are quite familiar with the way the graph editor works. Thanks, Keys. They're contact lenses, they help me see. I think actually I need to move it over this way a little bit. And then move this way, this way. Maybe more this way. Yes. All right. That'll be enough of that. Now, at our apex, I'm not sure if that's the right word. We're going to cut off the rest of this layer. And basically we're going to hide that. So that means when it hits there, it's turned into a circle. It feels like cheating, but that also is kind of how it works. I think actually it makes a bit more sense for when it bounces off for it to change. So I'm going to drag this over a little bit. And the whole point of it becoming smooth and seamless is in the way that we handle the rest of the animation. So we can do things like add blurs, add stretches, and squash and stretch even. It's another animation technique that is useful to learn, which we can do very briefly here by selecting the shape, the scale even, keyframing it, and stretching it just before, wrong way, before it hits. Ideally, we would really want it to stretch from the sides, but as we're low on time, you'll have to forgive me. Being contact lenses, would it be fair to say they help keep one in touch with reality? Yeah, let's go with that. I like that idea. So I think what we really want is it to stretch out over here and then squish, which probably means I can move this over a little bit more. And then this will bounce back as well. And boing. Actually, I think we can exaggerate this a little bit more, can't we? Because we have to have our stretch too. And then obviously you can do things like refine your movement a little bit more by actually moving the things like the animation lines by having it bounce that way, and then instead of just sliding across the floor, it can go up like this. So we've got boing, boing, which isn't very realistic, let's be fair here, but for the time that we have, that's how you would go from one shape to another. Hi, Alex. Howdy. I think this could be even faster, to be fair. Ah, that looks more impactful. A lot of the times if something doesn't look right, you just need to mess with your timing a little bit, and that usually fixes it. Now, as we've got less than 5 minutes left, says my alarm, let's have a quick recap, because that was a proper creative kickoff warm-up, which you've got, I think, for the rest of the day. Your creative juices should be really flowing by the end of this. So, let's have a quick recap of what we went over today. Why not? Why not? So we had a look at two different versions of the animation morph. Oh, hi, Adara. Hi, Phil. How are you? We had a look at two versions of the animation morph. So, the top one, which animates the actual shape path, and the second one, which involves when you have time to refine it, of course, is the match cut. And both of them achieve the same effect, but they're different ways of going about it. And these are, as I mentioned in the beginning, great ways to really add a little bit of flair or highlight something important. And you can go as simple as you like I've done here, or as complicated. You can change shapes, you can change colors, you can change environments, but you have a good basic understanding of how to go about it now, I think. I hope that makes sense. And like I said, I'm hoping that I'll be able to drop this off. All the shortcuts I mentioned, I know I was going through it quite quickly. Things like F9 to use easy ease, double clicking and control, and use to view keyframes. I have made this shortcut, no, up that way, shortcut document if in case it helps you. But feel free to watch this video again and get a good feel of how things work in After Effects with motion, not motion, animation morphs. I wanted to say motion graphics. I'm like, kind of close, but not quite there. I hope that makes sense. Thanks so much. Bye.